Okay, so 3/5 of the members of a band are women. If there are 24 women, what is the total number of band members? There we go. All right, so with this one, again, it might help to rewrite it. So we'll let X equal the total number of members, since that's what we're looking for. Okay. Okay. So we know that 3/5 of the total members are women. So it would equal the 24 women. Okay. So 3/5, that's just 3/5. Remember, of means multiplication. So of the total number of members, it's going to be X, will equal the 24 women. Okay. So from there, you just go ahead and solve it. You can solve it by multiplying it by the reciprocal, or you can multiply it by 3, then divide, by 5, then divide by 3. Which method is completely up to you, depending on how comfortable you are. Okay, so if we multiply both sides by 5, we have 5 times 3 over 5x equals 5 times 24. These two will cancel each other out. So you have 3 times x equals 120. Then divide both sides by 3. So you have x equals 40. All right. Any questions on that one? All right. Anyone still writing? All right. Okay, so let's say if we have a 10-foot board is being cut into two pieces. Okay. The length of the longer piece is 4 times the length of the shorter piece. The length of the longer piece is 4 times the length of the shorter piece. Okay. So you want to find the length of each piece. Oops, let me clean that up a little. Yeah, that wasn't much better. Okay, so we know that the shorter piece plus the longer piece would have to equal 10 feet. Okay, so we have the shorter piece plus the longer piece equals 10 feet. Okay. Now the shorter piece, we don't know how long it is, so we can just call that x. Okay. Now they told us that the longer piece is 4 times the shorter piece. Okay. So that means if it's 4 times the length of the shorter piece, whatever the shorter piece is, we just multiply it by 4. Okay. So we know that equals 10. Okay. So now we have our equation, we just go ahead and solve it. So x plus 4x equals 10. Go ahead and combine these two. It gives us 5x equals 10. Divide both sides by 5. We have x equals 2, which is a shorter piece.
X, 2.
Yes. Okay. Now that gave us the shorter piece. We now have to plug it in to find the longer piece. Okay, and we know our longer piece is the 4x. Okay, so our longer piece, which is 4x, we just replace the x with 2, and we have our answer. So that's 4. Oh, sorry about that. Bring that up some. So it's just 4 times 2, which is 8. So that's your longer piece. And if you add them together, it equals 10. So, you know, you're pretty much on the right track. Yes?
How is the answer supposed to look? How is answering this question?
It will.
You would just say like short piece equals whatever long piece.
Yep, and they'll probably just have a blank spot for each one.
Oh,
So
okay.
shorter piece is this,
Okay.
longer piece that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions on this one? right. Okay. Anyone still writing? All right. Okay, so let's say at a local gym, on January 3rd, had a total of 434 men and women. Okay. So let's say there's 78 more male members than female members. Okay, so there were 78 more male than female members. Okay, so we want to find the number of both men and women. All right. So with this one, we know that the number of male members and the number of female members total 434. Plus the female members equals 434. Well, actually write in total since that's what they have written there. Okay. So know that our male members, we don't know how many, so we'll put X. Oh, that should be the other way around. So make this female and this male. Okay, so we have our male, and this should be the female. Okay, so female members, X number. Okay, so we know there's 78 more male than female members. So that would be however many male members plus 78. And you're just going to add them together, so that's going to be equals 434.
Can you say that again?
Oh, sure. You have an unknown number of female members Okay, so they didn't tell us how many, but they did tell us that there were 78 more male than female. So whenever you see more than, you know you're going to add some. Okay, so now once you have your equation, you just go ahead and solve it. Okay, so you have x plus 78 equals 434. And again, it's just, you might as well say plus 1 or positive 1, so you can get rid of the parentheses. So you have x plus 78 is 434. Okay, so if we combine those two, x plus x just give us 2x plus 78, which is 434. Subtract 78 from both sides. So we have 2x equals 356. We'll bring that up a little bit. Divide both sides by 2. You have x equals 178. Okay, so let's know how many female members there are. Okay, now for the male members, we know we can figure that out using x plus 78. Okay, we already solved for x, so it's 178 plus 78, which is 256. Uh-oh. So we know we have 256 male members. All right. Any questions on that one? All right, I'll leave that up there for a little bit. Excuse me. Okay, anyone still writing? All right. Okay, so now we're going to look at consecutive integer problems. Okay, so consecutive integers are really just integers that are one after another after another. So if you have 3, 4, and 5, or if you have -8, -7, -6, or if you have -55, -54, -53. Those are just integers, consecutive integers, one after another after another. So let's say here, if you start with 3, we'll call that x. If you're going up to 4, you're just adding 1 to that x. Then if you're going to 5, you're adding 2 to that x. Same thing here. If you start there, and that's just x, to go to -7, you're adding 1. Then to go to -6, that's x plus 2. Same thing here. If you're starting at x, you just add 1, then you add 2. So if you're looking for consecutive integers, or a problem asks for consecutive integers, okay, so if they say 2 consecutive integers, they just mean x and x plus 1. If they say 3 consecutive integers, okay, that will be x, x plus 1, and x plus 2. So wherever you're starting, you're adding 1, then you're adding 2, then you keep going from there. Okay. And then it just keeps on going. I don't think you'll run across where they ask for more than 2 or 3.
So the variable by itself always counts as 0.
Doesn't have to be 0. It could be any number that you're starting with. Yep. So that's always just the first number, and then it just goes up 1. Yep, exactly. All right, so let's say, for example, we know that the sum of 2 consecutive integers is negative 59. And you want to find the integers. Okay, so with this one, we know that the first integer plus the second integer, since we're using sum, so you know it's going to be adding them together, has to equal negative 59. So since we know we're talking about consecutive integers, we know we're just going to use x and x plus 1. Now, if they said 3 consecutive integers, it would be x plus 1 plus x plus 2. So since they're only asking for 2, those are the only ones we need. Okay, so the first integer is always going to be x plus the second integer, x plus 1, equals negative 59. So now we just solve for x. Okay. So if we have our x plus 1 equals negative 59, that's plus, so you can go ahead and either distribute 1 or drop the parentheses. That's x plus 1 equals negative 59. Well, we can go ahead and combine those two. X plus x will give us 2x plus 1 equals negative 59. Subtract 1 on both sides. Okay, and that gives us 2x equals negative 60. So if we divide both sides by 2, we end up with x equals negative 30. Okay. Which gives us our first integer. We just have to find our second integer now. Or our second consecutive integer. And we know that is just x plus 1. Okay, and we know that x is negative 30. So that's negative 30 plus 1, which is just negative 29. Okay, so if you add negative 29 and negative 30, you get negative 59. All right, any questions on that one? All right. Now we'll do a couple of percent problems. After this one, I'll leave that up for a minute. All right. Anyone still writing? Okay. Okay, so what if we want to know what number is 132% of 694? And these are your percent problems. So you will have to know how to multiply and divide your decimals with these by hand. So if you have trouble with that, let me know and we can refresh. Okay. So with these percent problems, you write them out just as they're written down. So you say what number, and go ahead and box that in, is 132%. Remember, any percent, you're going to convert those to decimals. So to convert to decimal, you move the percent sign over to the left 2 times. So convert to decimal of 694. Okay, so all we did was get that entire sentence and break it down little by little by little. Okay. Now where it says what number, well, we don't know what number, so we'll just call that x. Is, we know is means equals. 132% converted to a decimal. You move the decimal place over twice. So that would be 1.32 of, we know that's multiplication. And 694, that can just stay as 694. Okay, so that gives us x equals 1.32 times 694. Okay. Remember, you'd have to multiply these by hand on the test. So if we're going to multiply the decimal, so if you have 694 times 1.32, first thing you're going to do is you're going to remove any decimals. So that means first,